The stars shone bright above the city of Valeria, the capital of the Valeri people. Their great towers reached high into the sky, shining with blue and silver light. Ships from many worlds filled the sky, carrying visitors to the great festival of peace. It was a time when many races met, shared their stories, and made new friends. Lareia walked through the crowd. She was tall and strong, with sharp eyes and long silver hair. She was a warrior of the Valeri, a proud and respected race known for their strength and honor. Lareia was the daughter of a great leader, and many expected her to choose a strong mate from the best warriors in the galaxy. But Lareia did not feel the same. She wanted something different. The festival was loud and busy. Aliens with many shapes and colors moved in every direction. Lareia's eyes searched for something, or someone. Then she saw him. He stood quietly near the edge of the gathering. He was a human. Humans were a small, simple species from a small blue planet called Earth. To the Valeri, humans were weak. They had no great armies, no powerful weapons, and no famous leaders. This man was different. He was not tall or strong. His clothes were plain and worn. Dirt marked his hands and boots. His eyes were soft and kind, but also full of something else, something deep and calm. His name was Jonah Wells. Lareia stepped closer. Jonah noticed her and smiled gently. He did not move like a proud warrior. He moved like a man who had seen much, but never bragged about it. The crowd whispered, "Why would Lareia choose him? He is nothing compared to a Valeri warrior." But Lareia ignored the whispers. She came to Jonah and said, "Will you come with me?" Jonah looked surprised, then nodded. "Yes," he said softly. They walked together. Through the city, past shining towers and great ships, the festival lights danced in Jonah's eyes. "Why did you come to the festival?" Lareia asked. Jonah thought for a moment. "Curiosity," he said, "and the feeling that someone might need me." Lareia smiled. She felt something strange in her heart, something she had never felt before. Suddenly, the sky above them flickered. Strange colors moved like waves in the air. Jonah looked up. "That shouldn't be there," he said quietly. Lareia frowned. "What do you mean?" Jonah's eyes focused. "That is not normal."
What? It looks like an energy field. Something ancient and unknown.
Lareia felt a chill run through her body. The Valeri had never seen anything like it. She felt afraid but also curious. They walked to a high balcony to get a better view. The sky was alive with strange light. "Can you understand it?" Lareia asked. Jonah shook his head slowly. "Not yet, but I will try." The festival continued, but Lareia's mind was elsewhere. She kept looking at Jonah, wondering what he was hiding. He seemed humble and quiet, but she felt there was a warrior inside him. That night, Lareia could not sleep. She thought about Jonah's words and the strange sky above Valeria. Early in the morning, she went to find him. Jonah was outside the city, near a small garden where he looked at plants growing in the soil. His hands were still dirty from working with the earth. "Why do you work with plants?" Lareia asked. Jonah smiled. "Because life grows even in the smallest places. You only need patience to see it." Lareia watched him. His calm and gentle way was strange for a warrior, but she liked it. "Will you come with me to my homeworld?" she asked suddenly. Jonah looked up surprised. "Yes," he said quietly. Together, they prepared to leave the bright city and travel to the Valeri home planet. Lareia knew her people would not understand her choice, but she felt certain. Jonah was more than a simple human farmer. He was the beginning of something new. As their ship left the city, the strange energy in the sky followed them, silent and waiting. The ship moved quietly through the stars. Jonah watched the galaxy scroll past the window. He felt small, but curious. The Valeri homeworld was close now, a shining planet covered with blue seas and green forests. It was very different from his simple earth farm, but something about it felt alive. Lareia sat beside him. She looked strong and proud, but her eyes held a new question about Jonah, about herself. When the ship landed, the people of Valeri came to greet them. The warriors looked at Jonah with cold eyes. They whispered behind their hands, That human is not worthy, one said. He is weak. He has no power. Jonah noticed the cold stares but did not speak. He smiled politely and nodded to the people. Lareya felt their shame for her choice. She looked at Jonah and asked softly, "Do you belong here?" Jonah shrugged. "I am not sure. Where I am needed, I belong." Lareya wanted to believe him. But her people were proud. They expected her to choose a warrior, not a quiet farmer. The Valeri showed Jonah their great city, full of shining towers and busy streets. He tried to learn their language and customs, but he often stumbled. He dropped things, spoke slowly, and did not understand jokes. The warriors laughed. "He is a fool," they said. Lareya felt embarrassed. She wanted to defend Jonah, but feared the anger of her people. One evening, she found Jonah sitting alone by a river. The stars reflected on the water, making it glow. She sat beside him. "Jonah, why do you stay? They do not respect you." Jonah looked at her, calm and steady. "Do you feel safe here?" he asked. Lareya was surprised. "Yes, I do." "Then maybe I am doing something right," Jonah said quietly. She smiled for the first time in days. His quiet confidence was different. From her people's pride, but it was real. Suddenly, a strange light lit the sky. It was not the stars, but a glowing signal from the Valeri moon. Scientists ran to the observatories looking worried. The signal was strange, a pulse of energy that no one understood. Lareya invited Jonah to see the scientists. They showed her strange screens and symbols. "This is dangerous," one scientist said. "We do not know what it means."
Oh.
Jonah listened. Closely, he watched the symbols and sounds. "This is not a weapon," he said softly. "This is a message. Someone or something is trying to talk to us." Lareya was shocked. Her people thought all signals were threats. But Jonah saw hope. The scientists laughed. "How can a simple human understand what we cannot?" Jonah smiled. "Yes, sometimes. The simplest eyes see the clearest." Lareya felt proud. She believed Jonah's words, but she knew the warriors would never accept them. That night, Jonah went outside to the moonlight. He looked at the stars and the glowing sky. Lareya joined him. "Tell me," she said. "How do you know this signal is not danger?" Jonah took a deep breath. "Long ago, humans sent messages like this. We used sounds and light to share knowledge and ask for help. This signal is similar. It is old, but kind." Lareya listened carefully. "Do you think it could be from an ancient race?" she asked. Jonah nodded. Before many of the stars were born, Lareya's heart raced. She looked at the quiet man beside her and saw the warrior she had hoped for. The light from the mysterious signal kept shining across the Valeri sky. The Valeri scholars worked day and night trying to understand its meaning. But their usual ways, calculations, and power could not solve the puzzle. Jonah sat quietly. Among the scholars, old earth books and strange devices that no one had seen before. His fingers moved slowly but with purpose, turning pages and pressing buttons. Lareya watched him with growing surprise. The simple farmer she had chosen was now the center of attention. He spoke softly, but the scientists listened carefully. "This signal," Jonah said, "is like a story told in waves. We must listen, not fight." The lead scientist frowned. "But what does it say?" Jonah smiled. "Not words yet. It is a code, a pattern waiting to be understood." He worked through the night, slowly unlocking the rhythm. The signal came. From an ancient satellite, a relic from a time before the Valeri humans, or any known race. Lareya joined Jonah as he prepared to visit the satellite. "Are you ready for this?" she asked. Jonah nodded. "I think so. There is much to learn." Their small ship rose from the surface and traveled to the moon, where the satellite floated silently. The ancient machine was covered in stars and dust. It hummed with power, a voice from the past. Inside the satellite, the air was still. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Jonah reached out and touched the controls. The symbols changed. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered and alarms rang out. Larea grabbed the controls. What's happening? Jonah's eyes were calm. System failure. I will fix it. He moved to the control panel and began working. His hands were steady. Slowly, the lights stopped flashing, and the ship's systems returned to normal. Larea looked at him with new respect. You said you were just a farmer. Jonah smiled softly. That was part of my life. Before that, I had other roles. Some things never leave you. He looked at the glowing symbols again. This satellite holds the key to balance in the galaxy. Larea was confused. Balance? How? Jonah explained, the galaxy is a system of many parts. If one part moves too much, the whole system can fall apart. He pointed to the symbols. This satellite controls energy flow. It keeps the stars steady. Larea's heart pounded. But what if it fails? Jonah's face grew serious. Then the stars began to drift. Planets could lose their orbits. Life could be lost. Ladia felt fear for the first time. What can we do? Jonah looked determined. We must reactivate the satellite. It needs a special coda, harmony of energy. Larea nodded. We must tell the council. Back on Valeria, the council was gathered. Leaders from many races argued about what to do. The Valeri will protect our people. One leader shouted, use force. And another said, Jonah stood up. His voice was calm but strong. Force will not save us. We need understanding and cooperation. The room grew silent. Jonah explained the ancient code and the satellite's purpose. He shared what he had learned from Earth's old wisdom, how harmony and patience could solve great problems. Larea watched the leaders. Slowly they began to listen. She felt proud of Jonah. The quiet man was becoming a guide for many. But even as hope grew, the galaxy's future was uncertain. The message was clear. Time was running out. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with tension. Leaders from many worlds argued loudly. Their faces showed worry and anger. The future of the galaxy was at stake. The stars were drifting from their places. Planets were beginning to wobble. The very balance of life was in danger. Larea stood beside Jonah. The quiet man who had once been a simple farmer now spoke with calm authority. His words carried weight, not because he shouted or threatened, but because he spoke with truth and hope. The Valeri leaders were restless. We are warriors. We do not listen to humans who hide behind words, one shouted. Jonah looked at the speaker with steady eyes. This is not about battle. It is about saving what we have together. A murmur ran through the room. Some leaders nodded slowly, but many were still angry. Larea stepped forward. We cannot fight this threat. It is ancient. It is bigger than all of us. Jonah continued. The satellite's code is a harmony. It cannot be activated by force or power alone. We need to understand it, to listen to it. The council fell silent. No one had ever spoken like this. Jonah looked at Larea and smiled gently. You asked me once if I was a warrior. I did not tell you the truth then. Larea's eyes widened. What do you mean? I was trained long ago by a secret order on Earth. We were peacekeepers, protectors of balance, never led with pride or strength. We worked with patience, courage, and wisdom. He paused. I kept this hidden because I did not want to bring war or fear. But now it is time. Larea felt a new respect for Jonah. He was a warrior, but not like the Valeri expected. His strength was quiet, deep, and powerful. The council agreed to send a team to the satellite. Jonah was chosen to lead. Larea joined him, ready to stand by his side as their ship left the planet. Jonah taught the team about human ways, about listening, about patience, and about working together. Some team members were skeptical, but they followed his calm guidance. When they reached the satellite, the ancient machine was still humming with power. The air was thick with mystery. Jonah approached the control panel, began to input the code, not with quick commands, but with a slow, careful rhythm. The machine responded. Lights glowed softly. The satellite system started. To balance the energy of the stars, Suddenly, the team heard a soft hum growing louder. The stars above began to shine brighter. The planets stopped their dangerous wobble. The galaxy was healing. Back on Valeria, the people watched the skies with hope. Larea looked at Jonah. "You were right. You were always a warrior." Jonah smiled softly, not with weapons, but with heart. The galaxy had changed. The quiet warrior had shown that true strength comes not from power, but from understanding and courage. The great halls of Valeria buzzed with new energy. The people were changing. The galaxy had faced a threat no one could fight with weapons. It was a humble man, Jonah, who had shown them a new way forward. Jonah stood quietly among the crowd, his hands folded calmly. Larea was beside him, her eyes bright with pride and hope. The people who once laughed at Jonah's quiet ways now looked at him with respect and awe. The ancient satellite had been reactivated, its gentle hum steadying the stars and planets. But Jonah knew this was only the beginning. "The satellite is not just a machine," Jonah said softly. "It is a symbol of what we can do when we work together, when we listen and understand." Larea nodded. "Your way, the way of patience and courage, saved us all." Jonah smiled, but his eyes were serious. "This peace will last only if we keep learning from each other." The leaders of many races gathered to hear Jonah speak. He did not raise his voice or demand respect. Instead, he spoke simply and clearly. "We must share knowledge, help each other, and remember that strength is more than power. It is kindness, patience, and courage." The crowd was silent. Then, slowly, hands raised in agreement, Jonah began to teach the ways of the quiet warrior. He showed how understanding different cultures, working together, and respecting all life could build a better galaxy. Larea stood proudly by his side. She had chosen a humble man, and he had revealed a warrior within, a warrior of hope. Together, they traveled too many worlds, spreading the message of peace and cooperation. One day, as they looked up at the stars, Larea turned to Jonah. "Did you ever think you would be a hero?" she asked. Jonah laughed softly. "I only ever wanted to help. Sometimes that is all a warrior needs to be." They smiled, knowing the galaxy had changed forever, not through battles or weapons, but through the quiet strength of a humble man.